Here is part 2 of our journal pages. They were a lot, so I wanted to split them into 2 different videos so you guys can maybe take a little break because I know these require a lot of steps and a lot of brain power. So let's get started. It says the spring celebration was a great success. The 4th grade students had a lot of stories to tell about their time at the skating rink. Read the stories below and answer the questions. Number 5. John and Michael raced each other to see who could skate farther in 5 seconds. John went 6 meters while Michael went 7,600 milliliters. So let's highlight all of our important information. So we know that they tried to see who could skate farther and they each skated in 5 seconds. That was their time limit. In that 5 seconds, John went 6 meters and Michael went 7,600 milliliters. So right away we know that we're going to have to do some sort of converting because they didn't use the same measurement to measure how far they went. John used meters, Michael used milliliters. So let's look at A. How much farther in milliliters did Michael go than John? So they want us to answer in milliliters. So we have to do a number model with the unknown value. So we have to convert John's length or his distance that he went, which was 6 meters. And then we have to figure out the difference between how far John went and how far Michael went. So we're going to have to do division. Not division. We're going to have to do multiplication and subtraction to solve this problem. So the first thing that we're going to want to do, and I'm going to make my pen a little smaller so I can fit it on these tiny lines, is we're going to have to see how far John went in milliliters. So I know that 6 times 1,000, because there's 1,000 milliliters for every meter. Now, there's a reason why I left this space blank here. Because if we have to subtract, you want the bigger number going first. So I know that 6 times 1,000 is 6,000. So 7,600 is bigger. Because otherwise you would get a negative number. Equals D for distance. So how much farther? So if I solved this, I'll use a blank paper. So this is how far Michael went, 7,600, minus how far John went in milliliters. So what's the first thing we're going to do? Well, we're going to do what's inside the parentheses first, which 6 times 1,000 is 6,000. And then you're going to subtract how far Michael went. I like to stack things vertically when I'm doing subtraction. I think there's less error that way, so I always take the time to rewrite the problem. It might seem like an extra step, but you're much more accurate with your subtraction. And we figured out that Michael went 1,600 milliliters farther than John. So I'm going to come and write that on my answer, 1,600 milliliters farther. B, if Michael traveled the same distance each second he skated, how many milliliters did he travel in 1 second? So right now we know that he went 5 seconds. For every 5 seconds he went 7,600 milliliters. But they want to know how far he traveled in 1 second. So we're going to have to take his distance, which was for 5 seconds, and divide it by that 5 seconds to get how far he would go in 1 second. Okay, so let's do that math over here. 7,600 divided by 5. Well, I know that 5 times 1,000 will give me 5,000. And I'm left with 2,600. Okay, now I can't do 1,000, but I know that 5 times 500 will get me close. That'll get me 2,500. And now I'm just left with 100. And I know that 5 times 20 will give me 100. Oops, sorry. And so for every second he went skating, he went 1,520 seconds. Oh, I'm sorry, milliliters. 1,520 milliliters. All right, let's look at problem 6. Carla brought a 1.5 liter bottle of apple juice to share with 2 friends. She poured an even amount into each of 3 big glasses. If she used all of the juice, how many milliliters did she pour into each glass? So, we know that she had 1.5 liter bottle of apple juice to share with 2 friends. So if it's Carla and 2 friends, that's 3 people, because she poured an even amount into the 3 big glasses. If she used all of the juice, how many millimeters did she pour in each glass? Well, the first thing you have to do is you have to do 1.5 times 1,000, right? To get how many milliliters, because there's 1,000 milliliters in 1 liter. And then you're going to take that and you're going to divide it by the 3 glasses that she poured. So now let's solve this. I'm going to clear my page here. If I know that 1 liter equals 1,000 milliliters, then 1/2 of a liter will equal 1/2 of 1,000, which is 500 milliliters. So I don't even need to do the multiplication, because 1.5 times 1,000. Oh, sorry guys, bless me. Times 1,000 will give us 1,500 milliliters. So now I have to take that 1,500 milliliters and divide it by 3. I don't even need to do partial product here because I know that 15 is a multiple of 3. 3 times 5 is 15, so 3 times 500 would give us 1,500. So our answer is 500 milliliters are going to be in each of the glasses that Carla poured. All right, last one. The skating rink offers both roller skates and roller blades to skaters. Michaela's pair of roller skates weighed about 3 kilograms. Evander's pair of roller blades weighed about 1,600 grams. How much more in grams did 1 roller skate weigh than 1 roller blade? So now we're talking about weight. So in the first problem with John and Michael, they were talking about speed and distance. The next problem, they were talking about fluid volume. And then now we're talking about weight, how much things weigh. So let's highlight our important information. Kayla's pair of roller skates weighed 3 kilograms, and Evander's pair of roller blades weighed about 1,600 grams. How much more in grams did 1 roller skate weigh more than 1 roller blade? So now we automatically know we have to convert kilograms to grams. Again, use your student reference book if you don't know these by heart, but it is something that you're going to have to memorize. So I know that there's 1,000 grams in 1 kilogram. So the first thing I'm going to do is 3 times 1,000 to give us how many grams Michaela's roller skate weighed. But again, you have to be careful. It says roller skates. Think of what the problem's asking you. It says how much more in grams did 1 roller skate and 1 roller blade. So we have to take how much her skates weighed, convert it to grams, and then divide it by 2 to get how much did 1 skate weigh. Okay, so actually I'm going to take this problem and I am going to bring it over to my next page. Let's see if I can copy and paste it. I've never done this before, so bear with me. Because we're definitely going to need more room here to work. If if I can copy. No, it just pasted my... That's okay. I know that Michaela's roller skates, her 2 skates was 3 kilograms. And Evander's 2 roller blades was 2,600 grams. So let's do Michaela's first. We have to figure out how much did her skates weigh in grams. So 3 kilograms times 1,000 would give us 3,000. But now we have to divide that by 2 because her skates all together weighed 3,000. So we need to figure out how much one skate weighs. So we have to divide this by 2. And I know that 2 divided by 30 is 15, right? Because 15 plus 15 is 30. So 3,000 divided by 2 is going to give you 1,500. 1,500. That's how much Michaela's one skate weighs. Now we're going to do the same thing for Evander. His is already in grams, so we don't need to convert anything there. We're going to do 2,600 grams divided by 2 because this is how much both of his skates weigh. We only want to know how much one weighs. So I'm going to write it over here. And I know that 2 times 1,000 will give me 2,000. And I know 2 times 300 will give me 600. No remainder. So equals 1,300 grams. So now they want to know how much more, right? So you need to subtract. So if I did 1,500 grams or 1,500 grams minus 1,300 grams, I'm left with 200 grams. Michaela's one roller skate is 200 grams heavier than Evander's one roller blade. So how are we going to write that as a number model? Because remember, they're asking for it as a number model with an unknown. So we're going to do it how we did the steps. The first thing we did was we took the 3 kilograms and converted it to grams. Then we divided by 2 for how much her each skate weighs. Then we took that amount and we needed to subtract it by how much Evander's weigh. But we had to do 2,600 grams, how much Evander's skate roller blades weighed all together, divided by 2 equals W for weight. And we got the answer is 200 grams. All right, guys, remember, I know word problems are really tough, but the more you practice and the more you break it down into smaller steps, the easier it is going to be to solve.